With the news on. Get down.
Let me clear my throat. Yeah. Oh, that's better. That's better. Somebody pass around the offering. Since I'm always preaching on tracks, you feel me? I'm about to get paid for it. Sermon of the day. You right where you supposed to be, baby. Informant, that information for me. Important you get a portion of fortune pouring. Confession, fortunately, blessings are not a snoring. You mellow, so focused on scoring. Got you underperforming. I never expect something, never assume nothing. Judging me for my past, but that's why I'm triumphant. I don't demand, I know where I stand like engineer hands. Watch how my life pans. That game plan, show out like a drata, pop out like a cutter. Telling the kick rock, skipping the course, squares like hopscotch. This gonna be my mood to my beat drop. Putting my boogie shoes in my diddy boots, ain't no stop. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'm gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'm gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Congratulations on the celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. No congratulations on no celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome in, welcome in. How are y'all doing? Happy December. I hope everybody has had a great day so far. I hope your week has been amazing. Can you believe we are at the 11th day of December? Where is the month going? The whole year is going by, right? I'm telling you, it's just going by so fast. And before we know it, Christmas will be here, New Year's, and then what? We will be in 2026. Yes, who is excited? I'm excited. I hope y'all are too. So welcome in, everyone. You know what night it is. You know what time it is. It is Thursday night with me, your girl, Lady Dawn B, here on the greatest network to ever do it in these YouTube streets. That's right, the one and only Bravo with Sheila Network, and we always pay homage to the queen bee of this station, for without her we would not be here, and she is in the person of Pastor Sheila Ingram, aka my auntie Bravo, tonight and every night. So I hope you guys have had a great year. Did you take time to recap like what your year was like? Did it seem like it went by really fast for you? I know for me, oh, there goes the queen herself. She says blessings, blessings to you, Auntie Bravo. Thank you. We love you and we appreciate you for doing all that you do and everything that you are. And we are glad we have made it through one more year and we still together. We still knocking it out and we just getting started, y'all. I promise you we are. 2026 is going to be amazing. 2025 was foundational. It was a year of discovery for me. I don't know about y'all, but I done found some stuff out about myself. I'm put my, put my work in. I actually put some things to work and worked them. And yeah, and they worked out. They worked out wonderfully. And so we are still here. And I'm glad about it. I'm excited. But have you guys taken a minute to I don't do New Year's resolutions, but because I just feel like we need to find a resolve, period. I ain't gonna wait till the new year for a resolve. I need my resolve and I need it now. Okay. So I'm gonna figure out what resolution looks like for me and hop on it. Because the sooner I can get through my problem, issue, circumstance, the hill that I'm on trying to get off, the sooner that I can get to my good stuff, right? Right. So on tonight, guys, we thank you for tuning in. We are excited. Last week, we had a great conversation about outgrowing friendships. I hope y'all took some notes. I hope you got what you needed. And I hope that you're putting into practice some of the things that we discussed or some of the things that were shared and some of the perspectives that were given. I don't know what's happening with this collar, but it is stabbing me. Anyway, y'all. I hope that it was a good conversation for you and that you shared it with someone, because as life changes, so do our circles. As our circles change, so do our friendships. There are some that are going to be for life and there are some that are going to be for seasons, for times, but we're grateful for them all. Why? Because, and remember this for 2026, because you're going to hear me saying it a lot. We are both a lesson and a blessing. We are each and every one of us a lesson and a blessing. We are lessons to some and we are blessings to others. Just like others come in our lives and they are lessons to us and some are blessings to us, we are in fact that too. And so 2026 is going to be a great year. I'm excited about the amazing things going on. Can y'all tell? So let's see. Let's get all the good stuff in and out of the way so we can get into this conversation on tonight. So again, welcome in, welcome in. I hope those of you that are tuning in that you will hit that thumbs up button, just where that thumb is, that thumbs up. If you could hit that, please, ma'am, please, sir. We appreciate it. That's the like button. And that helps to push our content out into these YouTube streets. Let them know that you like what you're hearing, what you're partaking in. I mean, you're here every Thursday, right? So you must like it. And we like you being here. So we appreciate that. It is free 99 to you, but it means everything to us. It really does. So if you would, please, man, please, sir, just hit that thumbs up button. And please be sure to subscribe to this channel as well as the Sheila Ingram Network, which is right across the street over there. We have everything spiritual that you can imagine. Good word, good song, good fellowship, good prayer, and a good God. So whatever you need, whether we doing all service over here. We doing it all. We're serving you in the spirit as well as in the natural. So on tonight, we are going to be discussing with the crew as they make their way into the gallery. You'll see them pop up from time to time on tonight. But tonight's discussion, I think, is very important because of the season that we're in, and not just because of the season, but it's something that we need to keep in mind all year round, because people go through things on a daily basis, and we've all lost something, someone, a person, place, or a thing at some point in time, and some of us are still grieving. Some of us grieve things, and don't even realize it. So tonight we're going to talk about growing through grief. Now, I do want to point out we are not coming in as professionals. We are not. This is not a therapy session. It's not counseling. This is conversation for educational purposes and for our growth. Entertainment, education, and conversation. Those are the three things that we are coming in here to do on tonight as we discuss this topic of growing through grief. We have all lost something somewhere. We still memorialize some things. We still mark time by some things. And we want to help just sharing some conversation about how we can move our way through, how we can grow our way through. I see y'all in the chat. So before we get into the conversation, I do want to give this disclaimer. As always, we have one rule in this house, as always, and it is what? Respect. Real easy, right? Real simple. Respect is our number one and main rule, and we require that to be shown in our comments as well as on our panel. Now, this is an open space. We appreciate and welcome everyone's thoughts, feelings, opinions, whatever your moral compass is. We want you to share and engage in conversation. We just want you to do so respectfully. We love to have fun and engage with our audience, and especially come and share on our panel. But we want to make sure that we are doing so respectfully and keeping the integrity of our network intact. Okay. So with that being said, if disrespect is displayed anywhere, whether in the chat or on the panel, as I always say, it is safe here. It's a safe space. Why? Because we have security in this spot. Okay, you don't believe me? Let me introduce you to her. She is the most amazing moderator, the greatest one to ever do it in these YouTube streets, and she belongs to us. She is in the person of Ine Kenya. Welcome, Ine. We love you, beautiful. Thank you for always being here and being on your post and ready to go. And you will find that Ine will welcome you in. She says hello to everyone and greets you and just makes you feel warm and welcome. However, we want to keep her exit button off of her, keep her trigger finger off of the exit button. So again, please make sure that you are engaging and participating respectfully, both on the panel and in the comment section. Let's see who else we have. Oh, we have got my guy. Listen, I would call him my nemesis, but he's not really. I don't know. I gotta find another name for us, Vaughn, because Vaughn and I, we go at it. We flesh over a subject, a topic, a conversation, and we will have it out with about 62 T's on the end. But that's my friend. That's my God, my brother. Welcome in, Vaughn, the Invisible Man, Eric. He says blessings all, and he always puts 9,000 L's because he wants everyone to be welcome. And we appreciate you in the building on tonight. And of course, everyone, I know you know her. I know you love her. You don't love her like I do, but I know that you love her. And I know that you've seen her. How do I know? Because if you've ever been on Monday night, okay, and if you haven't, get there. Because the lead host of Mondays Beyond the Mic, the amazing and the incomparable, my birthday twin, my sis, the Dr. Elaine Edwards, is in the Edwards. I'm sorry. My bestie's name is Elaine Edwards. That's the one who passed away. And she's apparently on my heart and my mind tonight. But Dr. E is in the building. Her birthday is coming up. That's why. Dr. E is in the building with us on tonight. Listen, chime in on Monday nights. Listen, Mondays are they're becoming something. I think Mondays are becoming pre-Thursday nights. And then as it becoming Thursday night warm-ups. So Dr. E is on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I have the pleasure of co-hosting with her, riding shotgun. We are Batman and Robin, Thelma and Louise, however you want to call it, but we are over there having a great time. So tune in. Amazing conversation always. And I love me some her. So that's all that I see in the chat on tonight. You know it. Mondays are becoming something. I'm telling you, listen, y'all better get ready for 2026. We ain't making no promises. We might have to pull out some warning labels. That's all I'm saying. It might not matter what night. Right. We just drive it off the cliff. We absolutely are. Yes, we are. We just going, y'all. We just going and enjoying the ride. At least we together. So listen, y'all, subscribe to this network if you haven't already. And make sure that you tune in on Monday night. Okay. And if you don't, catch the replay. You can always catch the replay and hit that thumbs up button as well as on Thursday nights. And we appreciate it. We really, truly do. And we love having you here. So I want to say before we get into the conversation, those of you who are in the silent section, the expensive seats, we welcome you in also, our silent listeners. We appreciate your presence. And if you don't mind, you don't have to talk to nobody if you don't want to, but you could hit that thumbs up button, please, and thank you. That's the only thing we really ask. We would love for you to come on down to the comment section and engage. Say hello. Let us greet you. Let us say hello. And we want to hear from you. We want to hear what you have to say. You help us grow just as we help you grow. So this is a community effort. All right. So with all of that being said, I think I got everything in. And let's see who we got in the gallery on tonight so far to help us in this conversation. You know him. You love him. He is the reason why we have disclaimers. So let me introduce him properly by saying the thoughts, feelings, and opinions of this squad member / panelist are not necessarily those expressed or felt by the Broadway Sheila Network. And we have to say that because we never know what is going to come out of his mouth. But what I can tell you is it will always be something philosophical connected to some type of analogy that is going to be memorable in your mind. So come on up, Sir Eric. What's popping? How are you? Let me see. Let's get you some hand claps today. How you doing? The presidential wave?
No, just wait. Hello, everybody.
That's the presidential wave.
No.
No?
No, that's the presidential wave. Yeah.
Okay. It's more. Oh, okay. It's the. I thought that was the Vanna hands. Okay, all right. I'm corrected. I stand corrected. How you doing today, sir?
All right. Yourself?
I'm great. Thank you. Can't complain. It's been a day. It's been a crazy week, actually. It's been some kind of week, but we're here.
Hello, everybody out there in cyber world.
Wow. Everyone in the cyber world. Okay. Well, hello it is. So, on tonight, we are going to get into this conversation about growing through grief. Now, again, this is not a counseling session or therapy. This is just a conversation. That's all it is, because we want to help each other navigate through life. We just want to share some experiences. We're not coming on as subject matter experts. We're not coming on in the place of counselors and therapists and life coaches. We are coming just to have discussion. So I want to put that disclaimer out there. Okay. All right. So I especially wanted to talk about this right now. We just came off of Thanksgiving, and a lot of people, or most of the world, is kind of in this, Christmassy spirit season. I feel like people are a little bit more grumpy this year, a little bit. They're trying to have the Christmas cheer. I don't feel like the buzz in the air necessarily in the same way that it used to be. I feel kind of like people are going through the motions of things. And this is just me. It's just how I feel. I feel like we really kind of lost the spirit of the holiday season. And what I found in just talking to some people is that everyone is walking around with a lot of weight. We know our climate, we know our culture, we know the things that we are going through. But everybody doesn't feel like they have a reason to celebrate. Like, it's not even in the spirit of it anymore. It's just kind of feeling like it's what we do this time of year out of form of fashion. What are you feeling or picking up or sensing in the air, Eric? Like, do you feel something different?
Yeah, it does feel different. Not just because of what's going on in the world. It's just, it's economics. It's economics. So a lot of people just don't have the money like they had in prior years to spend this year because of all that's going on with the government. And, the shutdown really affected a lot of people that was on public assistance and relied on the government assistance and stuff like that. So, that got down because they didn't know where their next meal was coming from.
Okay, we kind of lost you for a little bit. Your mic sounds like it was covered.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, that's better.
Okay, sorry. So, a lot of people just didn't know where their next meal was coming from. So a lot of people were down before Thanksgiving. And then, the holidays came around and everything, and people still were down. I went out of town for Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving Day, I had to stop in a store to go get something, and it was a little convenience store slash restaurant, chicken spot. And I just see people in there just buying chicken, and they going to sit down and eat by themselves. And I was like, wow. Or it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it definitely feels, the energy in the air is very different. And so it's kind of like we have to think of how do we get that spirit back, because truth be told, there's never such a thing as a perfect time. There are times that are better than others, but I don't think there's anything like a perfect time. We never have enough money. We never have enough time. We never have enough resources, but we make it work. And this is not taking away from the reality of the climate and the culture that we're in right now, but it's very weighted. People feel obligated to buy presents. And chat, y'all chime in. What do you sense and feel in the air wherever you are? And I think that it's important that we pay attention to this, because we can make the difference in someone's day just by simple gestures. And the conversation we're having tonight is about growing through grief. Now, most people think grief is just something that comes when something is unalived or someone passes. It's not always about a person. Grief comes in different ways, and it gets overlooked a lot of times because it gets masked under other emotions. And again, a lot of us are just going through the motions, of just trying to make it day by day. We're smiling on the outside, but there's no joy on the inside. And And that's because we're grieving over some stuff. We are grieving over the changes in life. Some people are grieving still over the election. Some people are grieving, like you said, because they don't have the money to buy food. They're grieving because they don't have that. And these are real things. These are real life things that we are facing every single day. And we have to become more conscious of them. Don't wait don't think that just because no one passed away, that people are not experiencing grief. Let's see. Dr. E says, grieving, I'm not a millionaire right now. Right. See that's a real thing. That is a real thing. Okay. I'm not mad. I'm laughing because I love it. But that's a real thing. Some of us are grieving what we have not become yet. We are still awaiting. It's all right. Millionaire status is coming. It's coming. And we cannot box this into just one particular thing, because it's important that we understand and we become sensitive to each other. So when you think about grief, when I looked it up, the definition is the deep sorrow, mental suffering or distress over affliction or loss, painful regret. And Dr. E she's painfully regretting that she is not a millionaire right now. It's painful, but we go through this. But you find that during this holiday season, while a lot of us, that's right, she said, and it is so, millionaire status is closer than you think. Okay. It's going to happen. It is happening. We're catching up to it. But grief is a very serious thing, and it becomes masked and can be overlooked because people are still existing. We are going through the motions, because we have to. We got to get up. We can't stay here. Sometimes when we stay in a position of grief for too long, it actually opens the door, or when we stay in a position of grief for too long, it opens the door to depression. And that is what is a gateway that leads us into that. And before you know it, we've slipped into this depressive state when all we had to do was, we could have avoided it if we confronted what was grieving us. I was really touched this week. I'm going to share this really quick. And I was really touched this week because on my way home, I drive up two mountains, and we were coming up Bear Mountain, and all the traffic was backed up. And for a moment, I was getting frustrated because I wanted to come home. It was Monday night. I'm trying to get home and get ready to get on the podcast. And the traffic is really backed up on the mountain, just sitting there. And the next thing I know, the fire trucks are coming up the mountain, and the state troopers are coming up the mountain, and no one knows exactly what's going on, but they're flying all over the place. Now, you don't see any accidents. You don't see any, no accidents, no extra cars, no noises, no smoke, no nothing, trying to figure out what happened. So I took a look because they weren't letting the traffic go by. So I took a look on the website for my town. And as it turns out, they said that all of the delay was due to a jumper in the water. Now, this was on Monday. Monday was like 12 degrees. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I go up Bear Mountain. Now, when I read that, my whole heart hurt, because I thought of the fact that this person is thought of no other way. They had no hope, to get through another day or even the rest of this day. And I mean, going over that side, first of all, it was, like I said, 12 degrees, and that's what it went up to. The water has got to be like negative 9,000, and it's rocky. But yeah, people are out here grieving different things that push us to a place of having no hope. And all I could really do was stop and pray. And then I began to just thank God that I could only imagine. I wish I could have just got to that person and just hugged them. Because sometimes some of us, all we need is a hug. And this is not going to be a depressing or sad conversation. I don't want y'all to think that. But we're talking about it because sometimes there's a person sitting right next to you. Sometimes the people that are at the table with us are going through grief. Sometimes the very people that you work with, the people that you are still grieving, and we don't know it, and we may not be aware of it. And just as easily as people make a choice to shift and feel like there's nothing left to live for, nothing else to go on for, if we become more aware on how to be available and support to people, we could easily shift or help to shift that feeling into another direction and help to give them some hope. You agree? Disagree? What are your thoughts?
Agree.
What about you, Chad? How important do you think hope really is? And again, I'm saying this because all of us have gone through grieving. I shared earlier today, my dad has been gone for 18 years. I think, 38. I'm now 56. And I tell people when they figure like, oh, you get through it, or you get over it, you should be over it by now. There's no getting over. How do you extract the impression or the thumbprint of a life that helped give you life out of your life? You can't.
Yeah, you can.
It's embedded in you. And I tell them, when my father has been gone from me for as long as he was with me, then you can talk to me. Then maybe we can have a conversation about when it's time for me to move past the grieving, because grieving has no expiration date. There are no instructions. It's not one size fits all. It doesn't look the same for everyone. It comes up at different times, different moments when we don't expect it at any time. Dr. E says, learn to check in on your strong friends. Exactly. Never assume that a strong person is strong all the time. Some people are strong because they have no choice but to be. Some people are strong because it's the only thing that makes them that only way that they can exist. I realized I'm a hyper independent woman. I wouldn't always like to be, but I've had no choice. There's some things, in order to make it one more day, we have to push ourselves through, and we can't get caught up on what has happened to us. So I want to read something. Do you want to share anything, Eric?
No, I mean, like you said, it's hard to get over the grieving process. I mean, you know, every December is a hard month for me because my grandmother's birthday was last week on the 4th. My aunt's birthday is on the 17th. My mother's birthday is on the 16th. And, it's just something that goes with you. So, I've been sort of like in the dreading the month of December, and everything and so forth. So I just been I've been in the mood, and I'm gonna be in the mood until I get over it, and so forth. And that might not be until after my birthday because of the fact that I always look at these people calling me on my birthday,
Right.
and then it was back to back deaths. My mom, my sister, my brother-in-law the year before my mom, then my aunt the same. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, but you have to. You don't get over it, but you have to learn to deal with it on a daily basis.
Right.
It's gonna be rough. You get your good days and your bad days, and everything and so forth. My trigger is going past my grandmother's house, and so forth. Every time I take the bus going past my grandmother's house, I trigger. But it is what it is, and everything and so forth. So yeah.
Yeah, no, and that's a very real thing. And we're all like living through and dealing with, and that's real time. That's real life. And some of us have experience. It seems like the older we get, we experience more of the back-to-back losses, or the same type of the loss at the same time of year, So then that time of year becomes our least favorite time of year. And it's because now we have to remember the people who are no longer with us. And again, it's not just people. It could be places. It could be things. Some people are grieving the loss of their home, loss of their job, loss of their car, loss of their finances. It's not just pertaining to a life. All of these things impact us differently. Some people I know handled the passing of, say, a human being more so than they were able to handle losing their home. Like they're not crying over the person who's going on to be with the Lord, but they are distraught because they lost their health. Like, bruh, you go find another home. Like there's somewhere gonna live. That person's like never coming back, but people just deal with things differently. Our capacity is at different levels, but we just always tend to focus on the loss of a person. But remember, people grieve places and things too. The fact that I can no longer go here, like you said, you're triggered every time you pass Gramps building,
Right.
And why? Because it's like, man, I can't go there. I can't get off the bus to go check on her now. I can't, and those we grieve places because our lives have changed. Those shifts of things that once again were embedded or are embedded. And the thing is, I think, I really just want to tell someone that it's okay.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Someone needs to know it. You have permission. It's okay. And not only is it okay, but grief is not something to get over. When people say, oh, you should get over it, you should be over it, you don't get over grief. You get through it. You have to get through it. And in order to get through it, we have to address it. Hey, welcome in. How are you doing, Lisa? It's good to see you. Listen, guys, y'all need to follow and connect with Lisa. I'm going to be reading something that she posted today, and she allowed me to. She so graciously extended the offer to share her post on the show tonight as we're talking about the growing through grief. She shared her story and her journey of the loss of her loved one, and I'm going to read that in a moment. I do want to stop then we're talking about not just getting over grief. That is not, we don't get over it. We get through it. And we get through it by addressing it. And I want to share this before I read Lisa's story. I'm so glad you're on. I just am so happy you're here. So y'all follow Keep Me Posted today. Listen, she is on Facebook. Look, y'all. She put your stuff in the how they can find you. She writes the most amazing shares, and she is no stranger to the Bravo family. She is one of us. She has been on Mondays. She's been on the panels several times, and we always love when she comes and she shares, and we appreciate everything. She writes the most amazing write-ups. I love it. Okay, I'm getting excited now. So let me read this to you guys about, again, how to come out of grief. It is not something that you get over. It's something that you get through it. They say getting over grief or getting through grief involves allowing yourself to feel emotions. That's one of the number one things that stops us, that people will box us into, which is stifling our emotions. You just lost something or someone that's very important, that meant something to you. Of course, it's going to hurt. It's okay to hurt. But we have to grow through this pain in order to get to the next level, in order to get to the next thing. And it's okay to embrace what you're feeling. And anyone that does not allow you or encourage you or support you in allowing yourself to feel your emotions is not someone that you need to have with you on your journey of overcoming. It's not someone that you need in your inner circle. You need people who are going to be able, we may not have all the answers, but you need people who are just going to be there, who are going to allow you to just be who you are. Allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to experience, allow yourself to embrace everything that you are feeling in that moment, so that you can grow through it. Welcome in, Mama Rosa, Pastor Rosa. She is in the building. She says, good evening. Welcome in, Mom. It's good to see you. Still her birthday season. She just turned 81 on Sunday, y'all. All right, she's going for her second round of life. And we thank God for that. So we don't want to focus on the grief. We want to focus on the growing through it tonight, because we want you to have an amazing holiday season. And in order to do that, you're going to have to take some time to really address and feel the emotions that you are having concerning whatever it is that you've lost. It involves taking care of your physical health, getting some sleep, making sure that you are eating properly. So things that happen when we suffer through loss, a lot of us, we stop eating, or we'll start eating the wrong things, or we become emotional eaters, right? Anybody experience that? When someone has passed or you've lost something, and again, those things are triggers to depression. And again, we're not here as clinicians. We're here just talking and sharing for information purposes only. Okay, it's not a counseling session, but we want to try to give you some information and some tools to help you grow through the grief. Who wants to keep repeating this cycle every year? And it's not dishonoring those who we have loved and have gone on, or those things that we have lost, but you are still here. And we want to be able to live. We want to be able to enjoy these seasons and these times in our lives again, like we once did. Yes, it's different. It's like your job. You switch jobs. Okay, so now you got to learn how this job does the office party versus where you were before. If you keep holding on to the memories of what was, you'll never be able to enjoy what is. It's not to dishonor the memories or the moments that we've had. As a matter of fact, it is actually honoring. It's okay. You don't have to be sad all the time. It's okay to laugh. I sometimes will, as much as I miss my dad, but there are times when I will just bust out laughing. Why? Because I will remember something that he said or see something that he did. In my family, we got this thing, my father, with these jelly beans. If you talk to any one of us, we go instantly start cracking up. If you say daddy and the jelly beans. Because this man, first of all, he loved him some black jelly beans. We hated the fact that he would eat jelly beans, period. Because
and them black ones.
Listen, it was his favorite. He ate it like it was surf and turf, like it was like the greatest thing ever made. But it was the smacking of the jelly beans. Now, mommy is in the comment section now. Right, Mom? That was some kind of like this guy. I didn't know that much saliva could be in anybody's mouth.
He's not like taking one at a time or two at a time.
He was
just
stopping and then trying to talk to you at the same time. And then all the spit and saliva is hanging down. All the spit is coming all over the place. And we like, what is that? And we little kids. So you can't really say nothing. But this went on for like our whole lives. So, see, look, Mommy said, I said, Lord the mercies. But this is true. This is true. We dreaded Easter. We dreaded anything that came close to anything that required jelly beans, because we knew it was smacking season time. We were like, good Lord, in the morning. She said, this is one of the reasons we were divorced. See, so they're not divorced because he passed away. They're divorced because he's jelly beans. Now, that's serious. But this is an example of a memory. Like, again, though I missed my father daily, but sometimes the sound of him smacking them jelly beans will come up like in my ear, and I will just start cracking up because I remember, and that's a way that it helps to grow. That helps me to keep growing through the loss of him, but it reminds me that we have good memories. I celebrate the imprint that he made on my life, and I encourage you to do the same, to find the imprints that the people that you've missed have made on your life and start to celebrate those. Mommy don't know it. Don't tell her, even though she wanted, but I'm gonna make her some banana pudding with ginger snaps, because that was one of my father's favorite cookies, was them ginger snaps. I can't do. They catch me right in the right in the taste bud area. I can't.
You freeze those with some cold milk. Ooh.
You see how you're turning your grief into growth. Because again, it's the memories. These are the things. This is how we grow through the grief, through the missed moments, from missing those that we love. But again, it says that it involves taking care of yourself. Make sure that you're getting sleep. Staying up is not going to change what is happening. Staying up, not getting rest, it is not going to bring that loved one back. We have to do the things that are going to make sense to help us process it. And I know sometimes it's hard. Sometimes we have to cry ourselves to sleep, but we have to address the emotions that we are experiencing and allow them to have their way so that they can get out. That's the whole thing. We keep holding things in and we repress them, and they don't do anything but fester. Mommy says, my ginger snap days will surely be over. Listen, every time we go in the supermarket and I look at the things, I'm like, oh, Jesus, I remember that. And Breyer's vanilla bean ice cream. I think it tastes like ice milk. I was like, oh, I can't do that. But
you had the Nabisco ginger snaps. Not just
right. You can't, right. Right. Now, these are my memories, y'all. These are things that help me cope through and help me work my way through grief. It helps me to grow through grief. Because this is actually my father's favorite time of the year. Because he would think he's Santa Claus. He was the biggest kid ever. And so the fact that he is not here to hide presents in different places of the house, to put all of this stuff in them big extra black industrial garbage bags and sneaking stuff in and out. My father was not a small man either, but to see him sneaking stuff in and out, telling you go in your room like you was in trouble, just the different things that would make this holiday season buzz with excitement. The fact that he's not here, it's not the same, but I remember these things. I don't know what your memories are, but I would encourage you to find the best memories that you have of those that you have lost, and use them to push you through the season. Recreate them. How do you think it would be if they were here? What would be different? How would you do it? You know, you have to bring it back to life. That's the way we're going to go through it. And you're honoring their memory, not, sitting sulking. It's okay to have joy. It's okay to be happy. Not that we're happy they're not here, but it's okay to focus on the good memories that we did have, what we did have, because they make a difference. Let's see. It says, allow yourself to grieve. Acknowledge feelings. They want you to accept all emotions, even unexpected ones like anger or guilt, and let yourself cry. Is there anybody in the chat that tries to stop themselves from crying when you are thinking of the loss of someone, or something? Because I know I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. Am I the only one? Eric, I know you've done that. I've seen you do.
Yeah, I've done it. Yeah. It's hard for me. It's hard for me being around my cousin Nika because she reminds me of my Aunt Gloria so much.
Yeah.
The same mannerisms, the jokes, and all that. And so forth. So when we get together, it's like me seeing my aunt all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm going to see her next Saturday and all because we're celebrating her birthday.
Right. And that's okay, and when you find yourself in those moments, because we got to be around each other. I know some people who avoid going to family functions and things like that because they say they cannot handle the fact that this one isn't there anymore and that one isn't there anymore. But that person or that thing would not want you to stop living. Mm-hmm. And the way that you're going to be able to celebrate again is to show up. Show up. Wear what they may have wanted you to wear. Wear a color that represents them. Bring a dish that they would make, whatever that was. And it's going to be hard. It's definitely going to be hard. But who said anything worth having is easy? Or anything worth having is worth fighting for? And your healing is worth the fight. And it may take baby steps, one at a time. But I encourage you to take those steps. We encourage you to take those steps. Let's see. Mom says, it depends on the closeness of the person to me as to how I grieve. My only brother passed before my dad, and I refuse to allow myself to remember the anniversary of his passing. I usually shut down. And she does. Now, I will say, because that's my mama, And she does. I remember when we were just talking about this the other day, when my grandfather passed, my mom wouldn't allow herself to cry. And because she didn't, and she and I are very close, I literally felt all her emotion. And I was a hot mess for about 20 minutes. Like, I lost it. Because I felt her grief. I felt her pain. I felt her emotion. And I'm like, lady, I need you to own your feelings, because I can't keep walking around holding your stuff. I can't do it. This is jacking me up too much, but it's the avoidance. Avoidance is what we have to avoid. Avoidance. Mm-hmm. That's it. We have to avoid avoidance, because that is the only way that we will work through the loss of the thing that we are missing. Oh, look who's in the building. It's Beloved. He is in the house. Good. Moose Beast in the building. He says, so true. Hey, family. Hey, fam. How you doing, honey? It's good to see you. Glad you could stop in tonight. We are just here talking about growing through grief, how grief is not just about the loss of a person. We grieve in so many different ways. Some of us are grieving people, places, and things. Grief has no expiration date. It is not one size fits all. And there is no right or wrong way to grieve. But we cannot stay in grief. Some people are grieving the loss of a marriage and will not allow themselves to love or be loved ever again.
Some people are grieving the loss of their family member that's being picked up by ICE. And that's been going on for the longest. People were getting picked up in North Carolina on Thanksgiving Day.
That's true.
It's crazy.
It's a lot of things that we grieve, and we keep boxing it in just to, and the reason why I think it's important just to express that grief is not just based on the loss of a person is because we overlook it, we mislabel it, and then we do not give people the support that they need to address what they're going through when they're going through it. So it is not just like, well, what are you crying for? You lost, your car. Well, it's just a car. It's just when we start having those, it's just the statements. It's not just it's something that meant something to me.
Right.
And that's the key. And we have to honor how other people feel about the things that belong to them, whether it be a person, a place, or a thing. So Moose says sometimes parents don't release thinking. Sometimes parents don't release thinking they're helping and being strong, but they're hurting by not showing us how to release. Absolutely. I agree with that. And I would say I let my son see me cry sometimes. Not because I'm a woman and not because, because they say it's not, it's okay for women to cry, men not supposed to cry. I don't subscribe to that. You're a human being. Things hurt you the same. Hurt is not gender-based. Pain is pain. Hurt and pain is human-based, So we are not helping our children and those who are watching us learn how to be strong by holding in, like you said, by not releasing. Actually, it's allowing them to see you go through what you're going through. Have your weaker moments, not weak moments. It's a weaker moment, not a weak moment. And then watching how you navigate yourself back through that, back to strength. That is how we teach our children how to navigate their way through the loss and the gain. How do we recover? How do we regroup? How do we move forward? We can't, and that was one of the things, the main things with dealing with this grief, with growing through grief, is we have to avoid avoiding, because avoidance is the number one enemy, I would say, of growth, of next, avoidance. That's why it keeps coming back. That's why it's not even that it keeps coming back. It never left because you never addressed it. We never dealt with it. So we have to deal with things in order for them to begin to depart. Oh, that was Moose giving us some love. Okay, let's see what they're saying. Oh, there we go. So Lisa says, I think it's important for us to also embrace how grief transforms us and introduces us to who we are about to become. That is so true. That's another point I'm going to make about how grief changes your personality. People don't realize you come out of grief a different person than you were when you came in. Whatever the loss is, matter of fact, you come out stronger and you come out better because you have endured and made it through something that could have taken you out. I love this, Lisa. I'm going to read her story, story that she shared on her Facebook page in a few moments. Again, she thinks it's important for us to also embrace how grief transforms us and introduces us to who we are about to become. We don't know who we are going to be. I didn't know how much losing my father was going to push me to do some things that I was kind of procrastinating on doing for me. And it was pushing me to do it because I knew those things that he would be proud of. And he would have wanted, I would have wished I had time for him to be here. One of the things for me is, this is kind of a awkward, transparent moment, but, so my dad, one of the things that I grieve is the fact that my father didn't walk me down the aisle when I got married. I didn't have that opportunity. My sister has pictures with my dad in her wedding, walking her down the aisle and all those father-daughter moments. And I love that. I do. I'm not upset about it. I'm glad one of us has had that experience to know what that was like. When I got married, my uncle walked me down the aisle, and he is my father's brother and the closest thing. And he was just because my uncle, we're like, that's my other father. But one of the things that I grieve always is the fact that I will never have the opportunity. But in some cases, if I'm honest, I feel robbed of that opportunity to have had him walk me down the aisle, to have had that experience, for my dad to give me away. But that's something that I've had to learn how to deal with. And that's something that is grievous to me. So, in relationships and marriage and things like that, I'm just kind of, in some cases, it's it's not a big deal. If I ever decide to do it again, it's, all right. Because I feel robbed of a moment that is so precious, but I had to grow through it. I've had to grow through it. I want to say that, there was a point in time where I was like, I never want to get married again because, my dad ain't here to walk me down. So what's the point? Who's going to give me away? All these things, but that's just how that translated in my mind. And I'm sure we all have an experience that maybe you can relate to that's similar. Let's see. Moose was saying facts, bro, when you were referring to what happened on Thanksgiving Day. He said, and that's wild. He says, it's lost, period. Exactly. It's lost, period. He's saying, exactly, it meant something. Yeah, it did. Things mean something. It's whatever means something to you. Just because maybe whatever you had, I could have lost my car. Eric could have lost his car. Maybe I'm brushing it off because my car didn't mean so much to me, but losing his car may have meant everything to him because it's something that meant something to him. I can't diminish his journey because I didn't value my car as much. It's like, oh, it happened and whatever. And that's something that we tend to do. We want other people to feel how we feel. And we can't trade our journey, trade their journey. We can't make their journey ours. So we have to respect the fact that a person is grieving over something they lost. And there's a difference between grieving and mourning. So I also want to put that out there. There's a difference. Let's see what they're saying in the chat, and then Eric, you can chime in if you want. Moose said, "When I lost my nephew, I broke down in front of my kids, and it was so hard. I'm human, and I want them to be too." And Moose, that's a great example. I wish he was on this side of the wall, because I think that it is important for us as people and as women, as men, that we hear what our men are saying, because I think we don't allow our men opportunity to grieve openly and have emotions. And we have this conversation, I think, pretty much in about every conversation we have, because men have been taught to suppress so much of their feelings, yet we expect them to show up with a heart. Well, they can't show up with a heart if you've never let them explore the feelings that make their hearts beat, the thing that makes them human. Um, and so I love the fact that you broke down in front of your kids. That's right. You let them see that crying is healthy. You're feeling something, it hurts, and it's not forever. And no man should ever feel embarrassed or ashamed in crying. And anyone that makes you feel that way is not someone I believe that deserves to be in your life. I wouldn't care. I get frustrated with women who tell their husbands or their men, when they're crying, stop crying. No, let him cry.
Mm-hmm.
Let him cry. Okay, you want him to stop crying. You want him to stop feeling. But later on, when you're going to want him to be there emotionally available to you, I want you to know he can't now, because we cut off the opportunity to be human,
Right.
as you said. What say you, Eric? Come on and share.
Yeah. Yes. We as men, yes, we do need to cry more and let our feelings be known. Um, you know, some women expect us men to hold ourselves together, hold your grief in. When my mom passed and I had to say goodbye and look at her face one last time in the coffin, I broke down and cried. And Jalen came over there, put his arm around me, and told me everything's gonna be all right, Dad, and so forth. And that meant a lot for me, because that was my son telling me everything's gonna be all right.
Mm-hmm.
And all. And now my mom and my sister are together, along with my aunts, my uncles, everybody, having a good old time and everything and so forth. And that's the way I look at it. I look at it as they're 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 at peace.
Right.
You always got to look at that person that passes away, that they're at peace,
Right.
because somehow they know when their time is coming, they make their peace with God and so forth. And then you can't say afterwards and so forth. Or, well, they found the Lord on their deathbed. They always knew the Lord. It's just that they called on him more at that last moment and so forth, because they wanted an easy transition for themselves. Also, I just look at it. I look at it like that. I look at it like that. It's just, there was a young lady. I'm sorry. There was a young lady.
Yeah. I mean, you have to.
Her car caught on fire in front of her apartment building because somebody threw a lit cigarette in a garbage can, which set that garbage can on fire, and her car happened to be right next to it. Right next to it. Her whole car went up in flames. And she just said, thank God I still have a roof over my head and everything. I just saw yesterday, over not too far from my job, a building, a building caught fire. A couple of people got injured, and I think 2 people passed away and everything. And they had to, I think they're going to have to keep that building evacuated, because the whole roof of the building is like leaning over. So they don't know if it's going to pop off and fall off, or whatever the case may be. And this is right before Christmas.
Hmm.
A lot of things seem to happen around the holidays, more and more.
Yeah, people.
Huh?
I'm saying people lose a lot, and I think it's because sometimes we're just moving a lot faster and maybe not as mindful as we would normally be. And some people just don't care. Again, some people are so stuck in their grief that they've forgotten about humanity. They're hurting, so they want everyone else to hurt. I mean, there's so many things that happen that put us into this space in these positions.
Yeah.
We have to be able to just respect where a person is at and understand that everyone is allowed to grieve whatever it is. Loss is loss. It's
Yeah.
not loss of a person. Sometimes, again, I said it's loss of people, places, and things. If it means something to you, we grieve it. Again, like I said, I grieve, to the fact that I'm much better about it. But the fact that, like I said, my dad will never be able to walk me down the aisle. I will never have that experience. I will never have that picture. That's something that rested with me for years. It's not anything that I ever said. No one ever knew.
Right.
No one ever knew because I never talked about it. But I walked with that in my heart. When I went to go dress shopping, I broke down because I was like, this is a moment where my dad should be here and he's not. I didn't expect it. It was an unexpected feeling that rose up. I didn't even know that I felt that way. A lot of times you don't know how you're going to feel. You don't know when grief is going to hit you until you're in a situation, and especially when you're experiencing a moment that you've never experienced before. It's new. The moment is new to you. The experience is new to you. Your reaction is new to you. But it's a real moment, and loss is loss.
Yeah.
And I had to learn how to work through that. I'm absolutely way better now. But it's just real thing. But that's something, and some losses are imprinted, like I said, in our minds.
Yeah.
The way that I combated that was I decided I know that my father would want me to be happy. He would want me to have love. He would want me to be loved. He would want me to allow myself to experience that. And it's like, okay, so what do? You find the best way to work through it and live and honor that person. And in this, we grow. And yes, it's painful.
Mm-hmm.
It's painful, but we can work through the pain. We're not getting over it. We're working through it.
Right.
Let's see what they say in the chat. Lisa says, loved ones also need to learn how to be a safe space for men to be able to let that wall down. Absolutely. Absolutely. That was one of the things I said earlier in the little clip that I did about tonight's show, is that we have to learn how to be a safe space. And I hope that on tonight, through these few points of conversation, that we'll learn how to be safe spaces for one another, and especially for our men. Men, when you cry because you're hurting or you're going through something, it does not make you look weak. And I would tell anyone, and you could tell them, I said it. I say what I said, and I'm going to say it with my chest and part of my back, 10 toes down, and I'm not going to hold your hand when I say it. If you are with a woman who is not able to support you while you are going through one of the hardest times of your life or anything that is painful to you, sir, please exit the relationship, because that should be the safest space for you. And women, we need to examine ourselves as to why we are here. If we cannot be that safe space for this man to come, where else is he supposed to go? Our lips should not be fixed to say he's weak because he's crying. Our lips should be shut. Our hands should be wiping the tears from their face. And our words, if they are going to open up and say something, it should be a word of comfort and encouragement. Why? I don't even know why we're going this direction, but we're here now. So, and I said this, if you guys go, this is just something that was on my heart. It's like, when you think about the positioning of men and women in relationships, the man that you look to takes care of everybody else. And what kept coming to me was the movie 300. He took care of everybody. He took care of every single body, protected everybody, made sure everybody was good, make sure everybody ate, make sure everybody had what they needed, make sure everybody was safe, right? She took care of him. She made sure that he was covered, that he was good, that he was provided for, so that he could keep getting up to go out to do what he's doing to take care of everybody. We have to adapt that mentality as women. I said what I said. That while he's taking care of everybody else, I'm taking care of him. My job is to take care of you. My job is to make sure you have what you need. So that means if you have to go out into the world and do all of that and deal with the stresses and the struggles and the weights on your shoulders, that when you come home and this is your place of solitude and safety and peace, my shoulders should be and are strong enough for you to lean on. My hands are big enough to wipe your tears. My heart is big enough to hold your secrets. I should be able to hold that with you. I'm not going to give it all the way because it was something that I wrote in a poem that's going to be coming out really soon. But women, we have to be that space for our men. And if you are with a man that you cannot be that space for, if you are with a man who cannot come and be vulnerable and open with you, then you are with the wrong man. Period. And you should never. I don't look at any man that cries as weak. Matter of fact, I look at him as strong because he's allowing himself to embrace his emotions and deal with it, confront it and get it out. So yes, I totally agree, Lisa, that loved ones, all of us have to learn how to be a safe space for men to be able to let that wall down. When he's not able to let that wall down because we don't let them let that wall down, then don't expect him to show up emotionally available. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna get off my soapbox now. Hey, welcome in, honey. It's good to see you. Thank you for joining, love. Y'all say hi to Roderick Brown.
Hey,
Hi,
Rod.
babe. I'm so glad you made it. You can cry anytime, honey. He says, crying for men is difficult due to the gender roles that society places on us, but it is necessary for emotional growth. Exactly. I totally understand. And ladies, why would we make something that society already deems difficult more difficult? Again, where are they supposed to go? You want him to be human, but we don't allow him to be human. So we have to change that gender role stereotype and let you know you can be all out here, but in here, listen, fall apart if you want. I'll get on the floor and cry with you, no problem. It is necessary for emotional growth because the longer that you hold that in, I can't expect you to hold everything in and be hard and then turn around and be soft for me. If you're wondering why that man does not know how to be soft for you, is because you do not allow him the space to be soft for himself. So I salute and I'm proud of. I don't let my son. I've never told my son not to cry. Now I tell him you're not gonna cry for 6 days. Like we're not doing that. But you go ahead and cry. You have a feeling, cry. And to this day, he's 23. When he gets mad, he's upset. And no, don't hold all that in. Let it out. I see it in your whole face. Say what you need to say. Say what you want to say. I'm going to give you one free pass. Get it out. Because he has to learn how to deal with those emotions. As a mother, if I don't teach him as a woman, from a woman perspective, like it is safe. If I don't show him what safety is like from a woman, where is he supposed to learn it?
Right.
So I totally agree with this, Rod. That crying is difficult for men due to the gender roles. And crying is not gender-based, family. It is human. It's based on humanity because they are human beings. We experience pain. And just like our feelings hurt, men's feelings hurt. They were not made void of emotions and feelings. They have them. Welcome in, my beautiful. I'm so glad you are here, my Lily. She is in the building, and I'm so glad to see you. Love you, mama. I did. I said what I said, and I meant it. And that's what I meant. Okay, she says, and I agree with what my sis says, because we have to get to a place where we start changing this narrative. Why do we keep repeating? Who makes up society? We do. So who changes the narrative? We do. Oh, Lily says, oh, hi, Mr. Sir. Talking to you, Eric. She said she came in peace today. She said she came in peace. No pity party, sir. I said, no, no, no. And Lisa says, you're giving them the opportunity to heal. Exactly. Exactly. If I can't give you that space, then what am I here for? And I feel like, and that's just, listen, I don't know about any other women, but I'm just talking about me. Just what I'm talking about. They say that grief does not have an expiration date. It is not one size fits all. It does not look the same for everyone. And we have to be able to allow people to embrace the space that they're in so that they can grow through what they are going through. Just because it doesn't look like it would for you doesn't mean that it's wrong. Your mom may have passed and you may have gotten over it in 2 weeks. I don't know. Maybe you didn't like your mom. Maybe you and your mom didn't get along. I don't know. I don't know what those dynamics are, but maybe you got over it that fast. Maybe I had a deep and loving relationship with my mom, and it's taken me 8 years. What hurts me hurts me.
Right.
But the way that we get through it is we have to address it, and we have to make it okay. People need to know that it's okay to feel how you feel. Like I said, with my son, you can't sit here and cry for 6 hours. We're not going to do that. But I need you to feel what you're feeling. And then we're going to get up from here. We're going to wipe our face. We're going to take a deep breath. We're going to regroup, and we're going to come back. And then we will figure out how we navigate our steps from here. But you got to get through the pain of what you're going through, because suppressing it and avoiding it only allows it to fester. It never gets better. Mommy says pain is not gender designed. Exactly. People hurt regardless of if we are male or female. Time to change the narrative, people. Exactly. Exactly. And I think it has to sometimes start with the women, because we are quick to say, and where did we learn this, that real men don't cry. Where do we get that from? We don't have to repeat everything that we've heard. We don't have to carry on every single thing that's ever been said. We don't have to walk in the same shoes, because it's like, how's that working out for you? Are you getting the results from your mate? You know? Okay, so Lily says, me and my mom didn't get along. I didn't think it would affect me, yet it did. And sometimes I feel people feel like I shouldn't feel. Trying to navigate my feelings. You have every right to feel. Your mom is your mom is your mom, regardless as to what that relationship is, no matter what it looked like. You have the right to feel. You can grieve the loss. You can grieve not just the loss of, maybe grieving the loss of life. Some of us are grieving the loss of relationships. Some of us are grieving the loss of things that did not happen. Some of us are grieving the loss of things that did happen. You know, but whatever's paining you, whatever's bringing you that grief, you are allowed to feel it, sit in it for a moment, embrace it, acknowledge it, work through it though. Just can't stay there. We gotta work through it. So people can think what they want to think, but it's not about what they think. It's about how you feel. And I believe you have to let your voice be the loudest voice in the room, the loudest voice in your head. And again, during this season that we are going through, this holiday season, a lot of us are grieving a lot of things. Some of us are angry about stuff we don't even realize that we are angry about. And again, it's not necessarily because Nana's not at the table this year. There's some other things that have happened throughout this year that we are grieving the loss of, that we are struggling with, just trying to get through. But we have to learn how to embrace those things and face them. Us sitting here and saying, like I said earlier, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna let myself cry. I'm not gonna cry. That's not helping. That's doing just the opposite. We are delaying our progress. We are doing more damage than we are doing good. Instead, grief can be a long process. Could take a year or more, just depending, and can involve a range of natural reactions like anger and confusion or guilt. It's okay. However you feel in that moment. Again, grief is not one size fits all. It doesn't look the same for everybody.
Nope.
Okay, so you're going to go through whatever it is that you're feeling. That's what you feel, and roll with it. When the intensity of grief while the intensity of grief usually lessens over time, the feeling of loss can persist for decades. So the feeling of grief can be temporary, but that feeling of loss can continue on. And that happens often because we are often then chasing or trying to replace what we've lost. If that trying to fill a void, trying to fill that gap, trying to make up for whatever is missing. Mommy says, listen, if he don't cry, then he's consumed with bitterness and angry. Listen, we all are. If we don't cry, it's going to come out one way or the other. It's going to show up one way or another. The question is, how do you want it to come out? It's better that we address it and call it what it is and deal with it in the moment. Because again, the intensity of grief will usually lessen over time. The more we get away from the event or the occurrence, the less we start feeling the grief. That pain is not as strong as it once was. However, the feeling of what we lost is really what we're carrying. It's no longer about the grief. Now it's about the loss, trying to replace what is now missing. I hope this is helpful. But it's possible, let's say, to grow through grief by incorporating self-compassion and patience. Give yourself time. Be patient with you. Be patient with you. And some ways to manage loss and promote healing are process your emotions. Again, process what you're feeling. Whatever it is that you're feeling, process it. Rod, whatever you're feeling, process it. Eric, whatever you're feeling, process it. Moose, whatever you're feeling, like you said with your nephew, process it. Mommy, whatever you're feeling, process it. Lisa, whatever you're feeling, process it. I feel like I'm in church. It's whatever you're feeling, process it. Don't hide from it. Allow it. If people got to walk away from you for a minute, listen, let them walk away. Let them walk away so you can have your moment. Yep, that's right. I only have my moment by myself. Just leave me alone. You have my moment. But process the emotions. It's okay to be mad. Rod says, amen. Amen. Listen, never mind people. Who cares? I'm not going to be held an emotional hostage. I'm already dealing with enough of whatever my feelings are, dealing with whatever this situation is. But I'm not going to allow myself not to feel what I'm feeling to make you feel comfortable. Because the truth is, a lot of people don't want us to grieve and deal with the process of loss because they don't know how to help us. Right. They do not have the capacity to manage us. Because for some of us, I know for me, I'm the sunshine, and in my groups, I make everybody laugh and keep her joyful, do my best to always be in a good mood, good spirit. That's just how I am. But when I'm in a moment where now I'm not at my peak, now when I'm going through something and I'm saying, listen, y'all, I don't have it today. I do not have it today. It's okay to say, I ain't got it today. Today, I'm feeling like I'm not okay. Today, I'm on empty. Today, I'm hurting. Today, we have to know that it is okay to say these things and express these things, and especially during this season, because we're all allowed to have a moment. You're allowed to miss your father. You're allowed to miss your mother. You're allowed to miss your nephew. You're allowed to miss your spouse. You are allowed to miss your cat. My cat passed away, I think maybe like 3 years ago now. Sometimes I forget to this very day that, I walk in the door, I'm waiting to see this black cat meet me at the door, I'll open the door slowly because he would hear me coming and run to the door, and my door is heavy, so I've been knocked his head off on the other side because, he didn't know how to calm down. Like, let me open the door, sir. Eric would call my cat a mountain lion because he was big, but I'm just saying, I miss that some days. Some days I find myself like looking, or I go to the store and I'm like, oh, right, Cassio needs, cat litter or food or whatever, and somebody else will say, it is just a cat. What you mean is that, that's when you get poked in your throat. Like, what you mean is it's not just a cat.
Yeah.
My pet meant something to me, and so you have to allow yourself, it is okay. And if no one else is going to tell you it's okay, I'm telling you, it is okay in this season to feel how you feel and allow yourself to feel it. If people around you cannot handle what you are expressing, then go move yourself to a space where you can go and embrace your feelings on your own, or go through it right where you're at, and I promise you they will move. But somebody's moving. But don't deny how you're feeling just to make other people feel good or feel comfortable.
Yep.
Mommy said, feel it. That's right. Feel it. Process the emotions. Express yourself. Start a grief journal if you have to. Every day, even if you write one sentence about today is how I feel, make a voice note, whatever you need to do, but express yourself, because that's a part of embracing it, and that's a part of feeling it. Then seek support. You can always join a grief support group, or reach out to a caregiver or anyone that provides a safe space for you, a friend. I ain't gonna say an enemy, but wherever you find that safety is, where you can just talk.
Yep, I got a grief group at my job that meets once a month.
And it's nothing, because this is what we need, because it allows you to go through it. Because a lot of things that we go through in grief, we think that it's just us. You don't know if it's normal. If you've never lost a parent, you don't know what's normal and what's not. I shared this story before when my father, he was dealing, was passing from cancer. And when he finally passed, like, my sister started talking loud, like she's screaming, saying everything, like the simplest thing. It was like, hey, if you're saying hello, like, hey, she's like, hello, like it's like, what is happening here? Everything she said, she didn't realize that she was screaming. And I would have to tell her, sit like that, like you're loud, but that's how it was coming out from her. We didn't know what that was going to look like. We held on to each other as best as we could. Like, she took it that way. I went numb, because that was my way of surviving. Like, I don't want to feel nothing. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the right solution. Definitely wasn't the right way to go. But I didn't want to do like Mom said. I didn't want to feel it. I didn't allow myself to feel it for a long time.
Dad's got that little John syndrome.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
That's just how it came. That's how grief was coming out from her. And like, we're laughing now. It was funny then too. It really was. It was like, what is happening? Because she's not really a loud person. Like, she may get loud. She's not really, like, so it was like, what happened to your volume button? It like fell off. It like clicked to 39 and stayed there. But support groups, wherever you find that support and that safety, there's someone else who can help you through it, because you don't know what it looks like. I did not know what grieving with loss of a parent looked like. I had no idea. Now I do. Now I can share with someone else. And in that, I want to say this. As Lisa said earlier, and we're going to end it by reading her piece on Facebook. And in a moment. But Lisa said earlier, I'm trying to find the comment. Learn how to be a safe space. She's saying learn how to be a safe space for men to be able to let that wall down. Okay, so when we're talking about safe spaces, learn how to be a safe space, period. Okay, and in learning how to be a safe space, I want to share with you, and I expressed this earlier on my little promo I did for the show for tonight. A safe space does not look like your friend or someone is sharing with you what they're going through. And our response is, oh yeah, listen, I understand, because you know what, when my dad died, you know, and then this is what happened, and this time, and I remember feeling like this, and I know, and I mean, I cried for about 6 hours the first time, and then, you know, I cried myself to sleep, and I woke up, and when I woke up, I snapped myself out of sleep because I woke up crying again, because I was like, where's my dad? You know, and we get into our own story, we get into our bag, and we've all done it. I mean, I've done it, we've all done it, and we do it because we feel, we don't do it intentionally, but we are trying to show them that we are relative. We can relate to what they're experiencing, but we're actually not being a very good support in that moment, because what's happening is now you are turning that moment, that's their moment, into a moment about you, or into a moment about us, you know, or a moment about me. And that makes that person feel like they are not heard, they are not seen, we are not validating their experience. You know, we are trying to be helpful, but honestly, that is not necessary. It's not a good way to show support.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we just have to sit and have a listening ear, because that person already knows that if they're your friend, they know what you've been through. I don't have to tell them I lost my father. They know, because they were there for me.
Right.
You know, so they know. And it's not that you can't share your story, but it's about the timing as to when to share. You have to let a person have their moment. That's how we are a support. Just let them have their moment. The fact that they're in your presence means that they are seeking solitude and safety and refuge in you. Because if you think about it, who would you turn to when you are going through, when you are in pain? You're not going to go to anyone that you feel is not going to hear you or help you. You go to where it's safe, right? Hi, baby girl. How are you, beautiful? That's my niece, y'all. I love you.
Who?
Shakoy.
Where?
She was using mom's thing. She said, hi, Auntie Dawn.
I was like, what?
Oh, Lord. She's talking to me. So, again, let's just be mindful of how we show up in helping people to seek support and be supportive. It also says to practice mindfulness and to be patient. Understand that grief can involve emotional roller coasters and cognitive challenges. Okay, so it's not just something that happens in 2 seconds and we just get over it. Be patient. Give yourself grace to go through what you're going through, to feel what you're feeling. It is okay to grieve. We just can't stay stuck in it, because if we sit in grief too long, that's how we move into, or we are at risk of going into or starting into a depressive kind of a state. And that's what we don't want. So don't repress your feelings and don't allow them to hold you hostage. You got to embrace them. You have to acknowledge them. You have to face them. Let them run their course. And then figure out, how do I get up from here? Now that I've freed myself and I've gotten that out of my system, now how do I get up from here? That is a good question. Eric, you want to share something?
No. I want you to share what you need to share from Facebook.
Oh, yes. All right. And here we go. So Lisa Ann, who is Keep Me Posted today. She is, I say, one of our team over here. We say, not just me, I say she is one of our team here on the Bravo Network. She comes on the panel with us on Monday nights, and she has some of the most eloquent ways of writing that I have experienced. I love when she writes things. She has a way with words, and she's just amazing. So as in preparing for the show, ironically today, I didn't know that we were gonna find this, but it popped up on my on Facebook, and when I read it, I was like, oh my goodness, this is so on point. This is on time. It just made me, it gave me more insight to this topic, and it kind of made me feel like it was confirming, like, this is the right conversation for tonight. Because last week we talked about outgrowing friendships, and tonight we're talking about, now that we've gone through that, and the people, places, and things. Now we're going to talk about how we grow through the grief. Because guess what? Some of us are going to be grieving some of those friendships.
Oh, you're freezing up a lot, Dawn. I can hear you. We can hear you talking, but your thing is just freezing.
Okay, well, I can't help any of that.
Okay. Because I thought you was like
in the mountains, it's the wind. As long as you can hear me. If I'm freezing, I'm sorry, y'all. It will unfreeze in a little bit. But thank you for letting me know. Yeah, it's windy up here. So,
okay.
So I wanted to share this with you because she was sharing, this is her life and her experience and how she encountered grief. And I wanted to read it because I feel like it'll be helpful to someone else. And you can follow her on Facebook. Her name is Lisa Ann. And she writes some of the most incredible pieces that really touch the soul. So you can still hear me well, even though if I'm tapping, you could. Okay. So this is called Sidewalk Therapy Grief, on grief. Some mornings, the city feels heavier before the sun even rises. I can feel it in the air. A weight people carry but rarely name. The holidays do that. See, we were talking about that earlier in the show, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They wrap the world in lights and expectations, but beneath all of it, the loneliness sharpens. The quiet gets louder. Depression presses in from the edges. Addiction tightens its grip. And memories I've tried to outrun for years find their way back to the surface. Today was one of those mornings, and this is one of those memories. It's been 16 years, and still my hands feel different when I write about that day. Some stories live in the body long before the mind agrees to speak them. It was December 10th, 2008. A cold so severe it felt like the world had stopped breathing. We hadn't been together for 3 years, but you were still the father of my children. That meant something. Even after everything we lived through, even when the distance between who you once were and who you had become stretched wider than either of us could bridge. And because of that, I always answered your calls. People don't talk enough about how holidays heighten everything. The ache, the fear, the need, the isolation. Addiction doesn't rest because there are decorations up. Depression doesn't soften because carols are playing. For many, the season presses down even harder. 4 years earlier, a year back in Australia, you'd asked us to return to the US. You promised things would be different. You promised sobriety, stability, a future we could rebuild. I wanted to believe you. Not for myself, but for our children. So we moved back, we rebuilt a life, and I held on to the hope that you would somehow find your way out of darkness. I felt it before I understood it. I'm sorry, hold on one second. Like my screen moved. Sorry, y'all. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry. Okay, in a life, and I held on to the hope. So we moved back, we rebuilt a life, and I held on to the hope that you would somehow find your way out of the darkness. But that morning, the silence said everything. I felt it before I understood it, because this wasn't unfamiliar territory. You attempted to unalive in May. I remembered that day vividly, the call, the panic, the drive that felt too long and not long enough, the sterile burn of the ICU lights, the sound of machines keeping you alive, the words transplant list and if he survives, quote unquote, hanging in the air like a verdict waiting to be delivered. You survived that time, but something in you did not return. So when December arrived with its quiet, no call, no request, no complaint, no familiar tug for company, my body recognized the pattern before my mind allowed the truth in. I called a friend, then I drove over, walked to your door, opened it into a silence that felt bottomless, and found you, slumped in your recliner, still warm, already slipping away. I called 911 and stayed on the line until the paramedics arrived. The operator kept urging me to get you onto the floor in case your breathing stopped before help got there, but I couldn't lift you. I couldn't move you. So I stayed beside you, listening to every strained breath, praying they would reach you in time. They did, but it wasn't enough. 6 days of waiting followed. 6 days of machines breathing for you. 6 days of doctors repeating the same quiet truths. 6 days of trying to remain upright for two children who could not comprehend the magnitude of what was unfolding. Your family flew in, your mother, your sister, your brother-in-law, stepping into an American winter and into a grief they didn't yet know how to carry. They reached out to the local Turkish society, and soon the hospital room filled with men who understood the rituals your family needed, even if they didn't understand the history that brought us there. December 16th, the day the machine stopped. They pulled me aside because I was your healthcare proxy. I had to speak the words that would let you go. And in that moment, I hated that you had placed that responsibility on me. It was too big, too heavy, too cruel for anyone to carry. But I carried it, and you never took another breath. Your mother called me a murderer. I understood her grief, how it searches for somewhere to land when the pain is too much to bear. But the words stayed. They still echo when they want to. Your sister remains steady, but grief leaves little room for shared weight. I didn't expect for her to hold mine, but I had hoped for a brief moment of unity. Instead, I stood alone until my best friend arrived, and when she did, I collapsed into her arms. 48 hours later, they buried you. Traditional Muslim rites, frozen ground, a cold that matched the numbness inside of all of us. They separated the women from the men. My 7-year-old son, our son, was taken into the men's circle. He knew only two people there, your brother-in-law and your nephew. Every other face was unfamiliar. And beside me stood our daughter, just 6 years old. She held onto my coat, her eyes too big for her small face, trying to understand a world that was suddenly colder and harsher than anything she had ever known. She asked where her brother was. She asked why she couldn't go with him. She asked what was happening. I had no answers that could make any of this make sense to her. So I kept her close, my hand wrapped around her small fingers, holding her through a moment that she should never belong to children. That should never belong to children. Your body was already in the casket, wrapped, still. As part of the ritual, they opened it. They made our son throw dirt on your shrouded body. I will never forget being held back, physically restrained from reaching him, from protecting him, while our daughter pressed her face into my coat, trembling, not wanting to see any of it, but sensing everything in the way only children can. He has never spoken of it. She rarely mentions that day either, and I do not ask. After the burial, once the stranger stepped away, it was just the three of us, my children, my closest friends, the school principal who stood quietly in the cold, and faces even you wouldn't have known. Grief does not come all at once. It comes in layers, in seasons, in anniversaries, in the cold, in the quiet hours before the city wakes, in the moment you realize you survived something that should have broken you. My children are grown now, living lives shaped not only by what they endured, but how they rose from it. I am proud of them. I wish this story had been different, but I also see the compassion, intuition, and depth grief carved into them. We didn't heal fast, we didn't heal cleanly, but we healed honestly. We walked through the cold, through the silence, through the long aftermath no one prepares you for. And we did it together. My son, my daughter, and me. Three people shaped by the same loss, each carrying a different piece of it, each learning in our own time how to stand again, yet somehow always finding our way back to each other. The grief didn't break us, it bonded us. And like anyone who's lived through something that carves itself into your bones, we each ended up with our own grief case. Not something you unpack fully, not something you ever leave behind, just something you learn to carry with a little more steadiness as the years pass. This is where the story settles, in the quiet truth that the three of us endured what should have shattered us, that we grew around it, that we keep going, and that we are still here, together, grief cases in hand, moving forward anyway. Love, Lisa. And that, everyone, is our dear sister, friend, Lisa Ann's story and tribute to her experience of dealing with grief. And I hope that you would go to her page and read it again. I hope something in here spoke to you and encouraged you to understand again that grief does not have an expiration date. It is not one size fits all. It shows up differently for all of us. Sometimes it brings intrusive thoughts. Sometimes it strikes up hard memories. But I love the fact that she states in here about the grief case, each one carrying their own, and it didn't break them, but it brought them together. So I encourage you to get your community, find your safe spaces, find those who have the capacity to walk with you. We may not be able to carry each other's grief case, but I can be a support to you, or we can be a support to each other as we do. So thank you so much, Lisa Ann, for allowing us to share your story, your piece, your truth. This is her truth. This is her true story on tonight to help to encourage someone else. She says, thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for allowing us. And the next time we have a conversation on grief, I would love for you to come on this side of the wall. I should have sent it to you. I know I said it before. The day's just been crazy. To share, because we're real people going through real experiences. Again, we've all lost something, people, places, and things. And when we lose something that matters to us, it affects us in ways we didn't imagine. So, Eric, what are your final thoughts, closing remarks? Anything you want to share with the people? How do you feel? Do you think men, how can we help our men? You may do differently. What can we do?
We have to talk to each other. basically, we as men have to talk to each other. If you see one of your brothers in arms look like he's in a little distress, go over and put your hand on his shoulder, ask him, "Are you okay? Do you need anything? I'm here for you to talk if you need me."
Sounds good. Men, Eric is saying something like saying build a community. You know, don't wait until your brother breaks down. If you see or you think something, we should be intuitive enough, discerning enough to
Yes,
know.
was beautiful. She put her heart, she put her grief on paper and wrote out that story. That's how
And
that's part of how she dealt with her grief is writing it out on paper.
are you tapping?
No,
Okay, and not just her, but you know we are sometimes we are the ones who have to help others navigate through their grief while we're going through our own. She had to hold it down for herself and her children and his family, and bear the brunt of the thoughts of other people that were not as supportive or as pretty towards her in a difficult time. And some of us may have to be positioned to do this very same thing, but I love how um, it's an example of how to handle it gracefully.
he was her
So,
husband proxy, and she had to make that difficult decision. And the mother-in-law shouldn't get upset. She shouldn't have got upset about that by calling her
well,
murderer because of the fact that she's the healthcare proxy for her husband. It's like my wife
well,
is my healthcare proxy.
well.
And I,
See, the thing is this: but in all fairness, we can't really say what someone should or should not do because again, grief looks differently for everybody.
true.
You know, and so we have to understand that people are going to react and respond in those ways, you know, and it's hard, but it happens. And sometimes we have to take it in the moment, you know. But I mean, I understand where you're coming from. We should all be of a supportive mindset, but everyone's when your emotions are all over the place, and sometimes in moments of loss, we look for someone to blame. You know, I don't know why this came to my mind just now, but just an example, you know, like with Gilligan's Island, they all started blaming each other, you know, when they were
Oh,
stranded.
stranded on the island.
Yeah, you know, because something happened. There was an occurrence that affected all of us, and we
Right.
needed someone to blame. And even though it doesn't matter, this is not about blame right now because we're all going through it. We all seeing it from different lenses, you
Hmm.
know. But that is not the time, and the time of the occurrence is not the time to start pointing the fingers because we all are experiencing the same thing at the same time in a different way.
Right.
So just saying, you know, in all fairness, it could have been her, you know, reaction to her son. If you've never lost a son, you don't know how, you know, you could blame the world. We could blame somebody that wasn't even there, you know. But that's how people react. But I understand what you're saying. You know, we understand what you're saying. And
Hmm.
yes, Lily, that was beautiful. Lisa writes some of the most amazing things. Lisa, mom says, Lisa, I am going to be in touch. We have much in common. Lisa said, well, honestly, first I walked across the country to feel the grief. Feel the grief to learn how to write like this, but I've always been a little extra like that. Listen, she sure did. Lisa has walked across the country, y'all. She took us on the journey with her. She was on the show while she was en route, literally walking across the country. On Mondays, to be on the mic, she would come and show us. She would give us stories from her hammock. I mean, just an amazing soul. And I think that is beautiful, Lisa. That you know that you're saying this, that you're sharing this now. That was a part of what helped you to learn. You know, to feel the grief. It allowed you to get it out. You know, that walk, because grief gets held up in the body too. Sometimes it's held in the body. it can have a physical effect on us. But she walked it out, and learned. It forced her to write like this. Well, listen, I would say it was well worth it then, because you write some of the most amazing pieces and expressions. So y'all make sure that you tap in and get in touch with Lisa. Please follow her, support her. I promise you, your heart will be encouraged in so many ways. Anything else you want to share, E, before we wrap this?
That's it.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in on tonight. And I hope that this conversation about growing through grief has been helpful to you. It wasn't meant to be on the sad side, but it is very sombering conversation again, because so many of us have we've all lost something. And, it's not just the loss of people, but it's people, places, and things. It's those things that mean a lot to us, that meant something to us, that still have left a print, that are embedded on our hearts and in our spirits, that we have to deal with, that they are no longer physically tangible to us, but they are forever embedded in our hearts and our spirits. And I want to encourage us to be a support to one another and to those who may be grieving. Again, remember, it is not just the loss of a person. It is about the loss of something that means something or meant something. And we have to learn how to grow through that pain so that we can get onto the other side of life again. So 2 questions I would give you as tools if you are finding yourself in a conversation with someone who's going through a moment of grief or having a grief moment. Instead of us jumping in, sometimes we don't know what to say, we don't know what to do. And, we again insert our situation or our experience into their moment, when really sometimes they just want a listening ear. 2 questions that are really good to start a conversation with them is, how can I support you? Let's not assume, but ask them, how can I support you? Because we all have different needs while grieving, while we're going through this process. Some may just need someone to listen. Somebody just may need a shoulder to cry on. Somebody might need you to walk across the country with them like Lisa. Somebody might need you to sing them a song. Somebody might need you. There's so many things, but one of the main questions when we see it, when we realize, and when we are there, is asking, how can I support you? And number 2 is, when they are talking and when they're sharing, and you would like to show them that you can relate to what they're saying, don't just jump in and say, yeah, I get it. Because again, like we said earlier, because when it was me and we go on telling our story, wait and ask them. Just say, everything, just saying, yeah, and ask them, may I share my experience with you? Can I share part of how I handled what, how I got through it when I was in your shoes? Because it's not, sometimes we have what I call pissing contests of pain. Everybody wants to show, because, we are taught that the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So we want to feel like we've come through the greatest, story. We have survived Vietnam and we have been to the greatest battles and whatnot. There's no trophy in that. The honor is that we have all made it through our worst days. And how do we know that? Because we are still here. We are here today. So no matter what we are going through, it did not overtake us, but we've grown through it and it's made us better. So those are just a few tips on how to help someone grow through their grief, be a support, and help to navigate this journey of life. We all need each other. We're experiencing different things in life at different times, and we want to have a good holiday season. The greatest gift that you could give someone is your time, a listening ear, and love. Those are the greatest gifts. And I think that if we start instilling those things back into our relationships, the feeling of this holiday season will start taking a turn. So thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. We hope you enjoyed this conversation. Um, Hope that you have a great rest of your week and weekend. I want to invite you all to tune in tomorrow across the street on the Sheila Ingram Ministries or Sheila Ingram Network. I'll be over there about 12:30, sharing a little 30-minute word of encouragement through word, sharing 30 minutes of encouragement, through word, through song, and through prayer. Let's see. Oh, okay. Lisa says she did a follow-up piece on healing. Well, Lisa, you're going to have to send that to me. I might have to read that on next week's show. And my Lily says, have a great night. I want to wish everyone a great night again. Hit that thumbs up button, please, man, please, sir. Share this out with someone who might need it. And make sure you come back next Thursday night because this is going to be good. Now that we've gone through outgrowing friendships and now that we've learned how to navigate ourselves and grow through grief, guess what? Now we are at the stage where we are ready to get this holiday season on and popping. So next week, we're going to talk about a really good conversation. As the men were talking about tonight, needing safe spaces to cry and to be embraced and be emotional. Next week's topic is teach me how to love you. That's right. We're going to talk about what it takes to be in a relationship. I don't want to come in knowing everything about you. I want to come in and let you teach me how to love you so that I can master loving you and you can master loving me and we can show the world what real love looks like together. I hope y'all are excited. I'm sure it's going to be a little toxic because the ladies and the men, y'all know how we get. So tune in, bring a friend, and we will see you then again. Thank you everyone for joining us. Have a great night. We will see you on next week. Good night.
Rest of my life like what? I'ma make the rest of my life like what? Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Congratulations on the celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. No congratulations on no celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. Yeah.
With the loser on the floor. Get down.
Let me clear my throat. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Somebody pass around the offering. Cause I'm always preaching on tracks.